This video is brought to you thanks to the EA Gamechangers Program. Hello and welcome to a special video. Thank you to the EA Gamechangers Program. We have got a deep dive for you into the new career mode patch notes. Now, thanks to Corey and Zaro, we've had the opportunity to talk to some of the career mode dev team, the creators that have got stuck into career mode this year. And from the patch notes and questions that we've had behind the scenes, I'm going to give you a bit more of an in-detail look at what is happening with career mode this year. Sit back, relax. This is going to be pretty much me giving you my opinions and everything that I can explain a little bit more on the current pitch notes and take you into a little bit more detail on the Q&A that we did have with the dev team. So let's jump into the career mode pitch notes. Right, so the first thing that has been added here for career mode for FIFA 20 is press conferences and player conversations. Now, what they really wanted to do was give you a bit more interaction with the players in your squad, conversations, press conferences, and a lot more cutscenes to be brought into the game. So something that has been asked for, more cutscenes and press conferences, has been added for FIFA 20. Now, to take this into a little bit more in depth, there is pre-game, with your manager and post-game with your manager. So there'll be a chance to interact, maybe some questions and the likes that you'll answer. And these things can actually determine things that happen with your squad. They wanted to give it a bit more authenticity, so they've added these cutscenes, press conferences, and you'll also have player conversations. What they've told us is that there is like an in-app messaging system, much like you get an email at the moment, but a little bit more feel on it, one-on-one interaction between the players and the managers. It could be cool. They're going to talk about tackling situations based on methods, positively or negatively, and these will influence your player morale and your rating as a manager. So something really interesting here. So there could be a little bit of a different dynamic on how you play career mode by the way that you go about answering these questions and having these interactions with your players. We don't know a lot more on this. All we know is that it's a really big part of what they wanted to bring to career mode this year. So big press conferences, post match, everything. Giving you a bit more of a manager experience. So something to look forward to. Hopefully it's not too repetitive, but something that I think will really add to the immersion of career mode. The next thing they have added is the player morale system. So basically, by interacting with your players, their morales can go up and down. And what we've found out in this is that a player's morale can influence their attributes on the pitch. We're not sure currently how this is going to be implemented, but what we know is that interactions that you do have with your players can increase their ability. They might have a high morale and they'll go out and get a few extra attribute boosts so that they'll play well. But if you hand down the smackdown, they may get a bit upset with you and just have a really average game. So, some more little techniques that have been brought in here for career mode. We'll be very interested to see how this player morale system is brought in. But it'll piece together different stories for different players and, creating another dynamic so that there is a lot more variation in the career modes that you do play. The next big addition is manager customization. So in the previous couple of titles, you've had that manager, a couple of random heads. You can choose a suit, a tracksuit, or a shirt and tie. And we've been asking for more. We've been asking for more, and they have delivered. The career mode have delivered with some manager customization. You can create a full manager from the ground up, do their face, do their hair, do all that kind of stuff. Different outfits, male and female, have been added for this year, and you can change their outfits throughout the career mode. So you're going to have a lot more personalization, make him look like yourself, a former player, a lot more opportunity so that, with these cutscenes and everything, you're going to be able to see that manager that you have created from the ground up. And hopefully this leads to, once again, a lot more immersion. And that's what I'm kind of seeing across the board is the career mode team have tried to give us a lot more immersion within this new career mode for FIFA 20. So creating your own manager, we asked for it. from continual feedback, they've said this is a good idea, and they've decided to implement it for FIFA 20. So really looking forward to getting in there and seeing what kind of crazy managers we can have running around on the sidelines and, of course, in the press conferences. So manager customization is here for FIFA 20. Another feature that they've added this year is called live news screenshots. So in previously FIFA 19, you'd have those little windows where, you know, player sides and that kind of stuff. But apparently there's going to be like live news within the game showing key moments and, you know, key moments of matches. What does it say? Creating relevant pieces of news and the content. So, you know, really getting in and showing what your team is doing during the season and hopefully leading to a little bit more of an immersive experience with some live news screenshots. The next thing they've added this year is called League UI themes. So what they've told us is that there's 5 unique central menu UI treatments for Premier League, Bundesliga, League One, La Liga, and the MLS. And of course, we've also had the UI for Champions League and the Europa. So those kind of themes that we got last in FIFA 19, they're now going to be put across a few of the leagues. So if you're playing in those leagues, you're going to get that different dynamic. The background's going to be changing in that. And, you know, if you're playing in different leagues with different career modes, you're going to get a bit of a different experience. So a nice little touch. Happy with that. And let's hope that they add more leagues through the few, you know, following titles. Right, this is a massive one. It is called Dynamic Player Potential. So this is one of the most requested things that we asked for probably over the last 3 or 4 years, is to say that the way players develop, their potential changes based on their performances. Now, to go into a little bit more in depth on this, players, depending on how they perform throughout the season, can get a potential boost or potential decrease. You know, if they go have a really good season, get the golden boot and that, well, then they're going to get a higher potential, especially if it's like a youth academy prospect. And the same thing goes with older players. So if Messi's 33, 34 and still having a cracking season, his potential will remain higher and there is less chance of his rating actually slipping down. So that is really cool that they've had a crack at doing this dynamic player potential. We'll have to see how this pans out. One thing that we did ask was this over the entirety of all squads and everything? And what we were told is no. Unfortunately, players in other teams will still have their predetermined potential as per previous titles. What this dynamic player potential does take on is in your current team, your current squad. They can only look after the team. You know, they need obviously statistics and everything coming back to them. So at this stage, it's just for the team that you're playing with that will have this dynamic player potential. Hopefully they can expand that to, you know, every player in the game, but you've got to think the resources and everything and the amount of strain that would put on when you go into a new season and the likes. That would probably take near on, you know, an hour for all that to be correlated and new potentials and that. So they've had a crack. We'll be interested to see how this plays out. It could be very interesting for youth style and road to glory career modes. Definitely really wanting to see how this plays out. It could be something that is an absolute game-changing mode. And I guess what it will do is for especially content creators that are playing multiple career modes throughout a title. You know, one time you might bring in a Neymar to your side or something and he's got this super high potential and he plays like crap, and then all of a sudden, well, he's only ever going to get to like an 85 or something. But if you play really well with him, well, then he might have a higher benchmark. He might get up to a 97 or something like that. So very interesting to see how this dynamic player potential does pan out. But as I say, the devs have told us that it is only for the team that you're controlling at this stage. Even with players that you loan out, they won't have the dynamic potential. That will still remain with you know, loans and that. And if they come back, they might go up or down in potential depending on, you know, whatever the game algorithm decides to do for you. But dynamic player potential is something that could be very, very cool. Right, now we're going to jump into some of the general improvements and additions for the game. They've got some new negotiation environments. You're not just in the office anymore. They've added a rooftop lounge and a restaurant, so some different places to hold talks and contracts and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool, just changing things up so it doesn't get fully stale. We've got some spot fixes and some balancing changes. Okay, let's have a really good look at this. And they've added an option in the player actions pop-up to add a player to the shortlist and immediately go to the transfer hub. That's kind of cool. They've redesigned the team management layout to allow for easier player attribute comparison, so you'll be able to see which player you really want to go in and make a transfer for. They've added the option to disable international management job offers, just so you don't constantly get bombarded with emails saying come and manage our country. They've also had a look at composure. Now, this is a stat that we've really been, wanting to know more about. And if you don't know what composure is, it's basically a attribute that was implemented, and what it does is it affects how the player plays on the ball and how well they can handle pressure. So someone with high composure, if a defender runs at them, they've got more chance of holding control of the ball and getting around them. The biggest issue we had over the last few years when they did implement this is, especially for youth academy players, they always seem to have really low composure, and that stat didn't really grow. So it was sort of, you'd come up against big players, and those youth players, even though they were 90 overall or whatever, they lacked that composure and still seem to be getting dispossessed. So it looks like they've addressed that. And hopefully the growth of the stats have been looked at overall. They've also gone in and looked at the ethnicity of the youth scouting, which was something that was completely broken in FIFA 19. So hopefully they've rectified that issue. I'm really looking forward to, getting that true player from South Korea that looks Korean and that kind of stuff. It was a little bit shaky this year if you've been following my channel. They've increased initial amounts of wage budget allocation, and they've also increased the player value of defensive players in transfer markets. We just found that defenders weren't really going for that big value. You've just seen Maguire and that go to Manchester United for 80 odd million. So they've sort of balanced out the budgets there. They've also fixed some issues with playoffs in the regular season for other leagues, and champion celebrations triggered at the end of the playoffs. A big one here as well, they've improved the algorithm used by the AI teams to determine their starting 11. So hopefully that means that when you come up against a big team, what we were finding was that if you had a 3-star team and you're coming up against Manchester United, they just send the kids out and you pretty much wipe the floor with them when, it could be a cup final. Like, it just didn't make sense. So it looks like they've had a crack at that. I'll be interested to see how that does play out. And they've also said that they've readjusted our save slots and got us back up to 8 at least. So hopefully that's enough to get you through. They've also got some competition changes. Winter break rollout of the season, removed the FA Cup 5th round replays. Just, the little intricacies that, were probably wrong. They've gone through and fixed them up. There's a new format for the Spanish Super Cup. And they've also rounded down points in leagues that split off into playoffs to halve the points, like the Austrian Bundesliga. And they've also updated usage of the 4th substitute in extra time in all competitions to support the new laws of the game. So some decent changes there. Still more work to do on career mode, but I'm happy with the direction that it has gone in. Have a look through the pitch notes. They are available on the EA site. And maybe let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Is this enough for career mode? Have they made enough of a deep dive to bring you something new and fresh for career mode this year? I can say I'm looking forward to FIFA 20. There are a few things that I would have liked to see addressed. We did bring up in conversation about the amount of countries that you can scout. Apparently that has not changed at this stage, so if you are someone that uses the Youth Academy out there, it's the same countries as last year. They still haven't added the likes of Wales or India or Iceland and the likes, teams that you can still do an international career mode with, but you can't go in and scout youth, which is, a little bit of a frustration. But I have been told that they do look to address this possibly in the future, so fingers crossed. But we'll just be, giving them more feedback. Hopefully they can create some more changes and some more fix-ups. If you've got any big gripes yourself of things that you think still need to be addressed here in career mode, leave them down in the comment section and I'll look to pass them on through the avenues that I do have. But that's it. That's the career mode pitch notes. We push on towards FIFA 20, looking like it could be a big year for career mode players. And looking forward to making some more content on the channel. Thanks very much for your time today. I'm SparringDK. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you have a good one. This video is powered by Neurotech and their product clarity. Now you can jump over to their website now, use the discount code DK10 for 10% off your next purchase. And I highly recommend this product. I use it every single day. It increases your energy, your focus, while reducing fatigue and stress. If you want to know how I get out all these videos and keep that work going, this is the product for you. So go and check it out. All the information that you need is on at that website. And if you feel like making a purchase, chuck in at that discount code for 10% off. Now, if you are looking for more fresh content to check out, you can click one of these two videos. If you feel like subscribing, well, there's a button right there. Make sure you put on that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time.